What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of When, Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. College men's basketball. Indiana Hoosiers versus Michigan State Spartans. Indiana has a 36.5% chance to win, and Michigan State has a 63.4% chance to win. This is at Michigan State. So Indiana's unranked 12-4 record, Michigan State's 12 nation 14-2 record. So for stats, Indiana has more points per game, points against, higher field goal percentage. Michigan State has more rebounds per game, slightly more assists per game, more blocks per game, and slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing here. So I think Michigan State will beat Indiana tomorrow. Between the Cavaliers versus Louisville Cardinals, Virginia has a 21.2% chance to win, and Louisville has a 78.8% chance to win. This is at Louisville. So Virginia is 16 nation, 14-2 record. Louisville's 20 nation, 12-4 record. For stats, Louisville is more points per game, points against. Virginia has a slightly higher field goal percentage. Louisville has slightly more rebounds per game and assists per game. Virginia has more blocks per game, and Louisville has slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing here. So I think Louisville will beat Virginia tomorrow. Texas A&M Aggies versus Tennessee Volunteers. A&M has a 24.2% chance to win. Tennessee's a 75.8% chance to win. This is at Tennessee. So A&M is unranked 13-3 record. Tennessee's 24 nation, 11-5 record. So for stats, A&M has more points per game, points against, field goal percentage is even. Tennessee has more rebounds per game. A&M has more assists per game. Tennessee has slightly more blocks per game, and A&M has more steals per game. So the stats with where there's a big difference are points per game and points against. So points per game is an 11.3 advantage, the difference with an advantage for A&M, and points against is a 10.1 difference in favor of Tennessee. So differences are close, so they cancel out within a reasonable margin of error. And so the rest of the stats are pretty close. So I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing. Going to be the big thing here. So I think Tennessee will beat Texas A&M tomorrow. UConn Huskies versus Seton Pirates. UConn's a 74.1% chance to win. Seton is a 25.9% chance to win. This is at Seton. So UConn is 3 nation, 16-1 record. Seton is 25 nation, 14-2 record. For stats, UConn has more points per game, slightly more points against, higher field goal percentage, slightly more rebounds per game, more assists per game. Seton has slightly more blocks per game and has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing here. So I think Seton will beat UConn tomorrow. Iowa State Cyclones versus Kansas Jayhawks. Iowa State has a 58.9% chance to win. Kansas has a 41.1% chance to win. This is at Kansas. So Iowa State's 2 in nation, 16-0 record. Kansas is unranked 11-5 record. For stats, Iowa State has more points per game. Kansas has more points against. Iowa State has a higher field goal percentage. Kansas has more rebounds per game. Iowa State has more assists per game. Kansas has more blocks per game, and Iowa State has more steals per game. So the stat with the big difference is points per game is at a 10.5 in favor of Iowa State, and points against that one. It's pretty close. That one's like a 5.2 in favor of Iowa State. So yeah, all the outs points per game, that's a big advantage for Iowa State. The rest are pretty close. So despite the home field advantage that Kansas has, I think with the points per game advantage, I think Iowa State will beat Kansas tomorrow. Alabama Crimson Tide versus Mississippi State Bulldogs. Alabama is a 62.7% chance to win. Mississippi State is a 37.3% chance to win. This is at Mississippi State. So Alabama is 18 nation, 11-5 record. Mississippi State's unranked 10-6 record. So for Statsum, Alabama has more points per game, points against, field goal percentage is even. Alabama has more rebounds per game, assists per game, blocks per game, and slightly more steals per game. So the stat with the big difference is points per game. It is at 13.5 in favor of Alabama. Points against, that one's a 5.9 in favor of Mississippi State. So not a big difference. The rest are very close. So Alabama so despite the home field advantage that Mississippi State has, I think with the points per game advantage, I think Alabama is going to beat Mississippi State tomorrow. Florida Gators versus Oklahoma Sooners. Florida has a 65% chance to win, and Oklahoma has a 35% chance to win. This is at Oklahoma. So Florida is 19 nation, 11-5 record. Oklahoma is unranked, 11-5 record. So for stats, Florida has slightly more points per game. Oklahoma has more points against, slightly higher, and has a slightly higher field goal percentage. Florida has more rebounds per game. Oklahoma has slightly more assists per game. Florida has more blocks per game, and Oklahoma has slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing here. So I think Oklahoma will beat Florida tomorrow. NBA. Phoenix Suns versus Miami Heat. The Suns have a 43.8% chance to win. The Heat have a 56.2% chance to win. This is at Miami. For injuries, for the Suns, Green and Boyea are out, and for the Heat, Powell's a game time decision, and Rozier is out. For stats, the Heat have more points per game, points against, slightly higher field goal percentage, more rebounds per game, assists per game, slightly more blocks per game, and the Suns have more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing here. So I think the Heat will beat the Suns tomorrow. San Antonio Spurs versus Oklahoma City Thunder. The Spurs have a 29.2% chance to win, and the Thunder have a 70.8% chance to win. This is at OKC. For injuries, for the Spurs, Vassal's out. For the Thunder, Hartenstein, Topic are out, and Sorber's out for the season. For stats, OKC, the Thunder have more points per game. The Spurs have more points against. The Thunder have a higher field goal percentage. Spurs have more rebounds per game. Thunder have slightly more assists per game and have more blocks per game and steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be the big thing here. So I think the Thunder will beat the Spurs tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.